Hello everyone, welcome to this continuation lesson where we are looking at the trend line setup. Now here I've got tradingview.com opened, which is free for everyone. So I would encourage you to use it as well after this lesson so that you can try and make sense of the things that we have spoken about in the previous lessons. So here we've got a chart of the gold price. So I'm going to change it here from 1 minute. I'm going to start off with the weekly chart. Okay, so there is the chart that comes through. So for example, I'm going to start at this point here. And I'm going to pick these two to draw my chart. So there I've got a swing low, and I've got a swing low there as well. So I'm going to first put my line here. Now you don't have to get it at exactly the midpoint, but through your eyes you can be able to see that what I'm drawing is making sense or it's not. So here, if I pick this swing low here, you can see that I would have 1, 2 points, but for me to define my trend line, in this case it's an uptrend line, I'm saying I need 3 points. So I'm going to adjust it because I'm looking at this point here. I'm going to put it at that point. Now when I do that, I'm going to adjust on this side. Then now you can see I've got 1 point, 2, and 3 point here. Now as you can see, the tails are sort of hitting that line as well. Even on this point, the tails are going onto that line as well. So in this case, I would have drawn an uptrend line. Now as you can see, the slope of the line tells me that the momentum is not very high in an upward direction. So now what I expect is that if I am going to project this line going to this direction, I can see here that the price has changed. So there is no limit on how many lines you can draw. So here I'm going to say, instead of changing my lines completely, I'm going to put another line there. So here I'm going to connect those points there. So I've got 1 point, then it touches there, and it touches also there, and it touches there as well. Then I can see that this line didn't show higher momentum compared to this one. Because if you look at this line here, the slope of it is not as steep as this one. So if you look here, the price moved from this point, which is 540, up to that point, which is 654. And you can see that it moved from March 2006 up to August 2007, which is quite a bit of time. But then when you compare the movement from here, the 13th of August, up to this point, it's only the 17th of March, which is a shorter time compared to this one. So usually higher momentum or steeper trend lines result in a large price move over a shorter period of time compared to trend lines that are almost leaning on the side of being horizontal. So in this case, this is the line that we had drawn from the previous. So I'm going to just continue to extend it. Because remember, when we drew this line, we were not seeing the other side of the screen. So here we can look again to say this trend line, the price was bouncing off it. Now see what happened when the price dropped to this line. When it hit this line, what did we expect? We expected the line to act as a support or to act as a signal to buyers to say, look, the price has reached this line, we expect it to go back upwards. So you can see from here, it bounced off from price of 765 up to a high price of 917. And this was all within a week. So the price moved from there to that point, somewhere close to $200 in price within a week. So someone would have made quite a good amount of money because everyone was looking to say the trend line is going to be maintained. Then the price came back again the second time, and you can see there on this candle, if I expand, you can see this candle here. There's a tail showing that when the price reached this level again, people started pushing the price upwards again. But then in the next week, it managed to break through. Then it broke the trend. But then it didn't find a lot of time before it picked up again and went back into that trend. So you can see that this is how trend lines tend to support the narrative over time. Now, if we continue with this line, you would be able to see that let's just see, our line was coming this way. So we just want to see what happened there. You see that it managed to break down. Then the price managed to push up a bit. For about 2 weeks, the price closed above that same line before it dropped down on the other side. So trend lines, they can act to guide you in terms of the future where things are going. Usually, you would expect that the shorter trend lines would be for a short period, therefore can easily be broken. The longer the trend line, the more resilience it will have and do to continue to hold over a given time period. So this is all for now. We'll open more charts and continue to analyze the trend lines in the next lesson. However, the things you need to pick up from this lesson is that the steeper the line, the more momentum that the price have in a given period of time, which is usually shorter. The more closer to horizontal the line is, the slower the price is moving over a given period of time. So the steepness of the rise in the trend line can give you an idea of how much profit can be realized in a shorter period or in a longer period of time. Then usually the more touches that your trend line has from the candles, the more that it can hold over time. If you have got only 3 touches, then you are looking at a weaker trend line. If you have got maybe 10 touches, then you have got a stronger trend line. So the longer line should have more touches than the shorter lines. Therefore, you would expect that the longer line would hold more than the shorter line in a given time frame or when price decides to swing in another direction. So that is all for now. We'll continue again and analyze more trend lines.